Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to NextGen IT courses. So, today we have day one class. Yesterday it was day zero. We just, discussed regarding the introduction of CCNA, CCNP, prerequisite opportunities, and basic fundamentals. And today we have, day one class, and we have our trainer also. Hi, Vivek, sir.
Hi everyone. I see Baswa. Hi Baswa. Good evening.
Good
Vinay,
evening, sir.
Ayush, Shivaji, Sirisha. Hi everyone. Hope all you are
Yes.
doing good.
So, guys, Vivek sir is having good experience, and he has worked with Cisco as well as a TAC engineer. So you can learn a lot of things from him. He's expert in CCNA, CCNP, even SD-WAN as well. Okay. So rest Vivek sir, up to you. You can start the session.
Yep. Thanks for that, Sachin.
Yeah.
So yeah. So as we know, yesterday we had a quick glance. So what are how things are working, right? So basically, how overall the connections are happening, right? We had a discussion how what is device that is connected, what is WAN, what is WAN, MAN. So all these things we have looked into yesterday. So I mean, yeah. So so basically we have around, you know, I'm just revising what we had talked about yesterday, just to have quick overview. We discussed about LAN, right? What is LAN? And different type of network architecture that we have inside this, right? So basically, we know LAN is something that is present within our environment, okay, within its local environment, right? So as the picture depicts here, right, we have a switch, we have a LAN cable, we are connecting that laptop to the switch, we have other computers, we have printers, we have router Wi-Fi. So all these are all these LAN devices, all the end devices or a host, these are connected within a small environment, right? They will be present somewhere near to us environment. So in our nearby environment, right? This is called a LAN area, local area network. And we also discussed like yesterday, local area also includes, access points, wherein we are connecting our laptops and everything, other accessories via no wireless method. By you're connecting it to the AP and you're getting the internet, you're communicating. Okay, you're printing your any kind of no any kind of printouts. You're printing it from your laptop that goes via wireless or via switch, and you're able to print it. So these are all happening within your small environment. So that is called local area network, right? So I think the picture is pretty much clear, right? And more important thing, guys, I mean, I want you to have an open session. You can unmute yourself and start, you actively participating in the conversation, because first 2 3 days of the session will be like interactive one, and later on, as I said yesterday, we'll be having more of the conceptual part. Back in that point of time, we'll have a separate window where we can have a discussion as well. So currently I'm open, it is an open forum, and you can speak and let me know what you think about what we're trying to learn, right? So yeah, but the fundamentals of LAN, we got to know what is LAN, what things are connected within a LAN, right? Okay. Now, so all the LAN technology, I mean, inside the LAN, how the connections we are taking, the connection comes in. We have an Ethernet cable. We connect this Ethernet cable to the switch, and you get the internet. That's the basic fundamental. Whether if you are using ISP router and you're connecting it to your LAN, connect to your LAN port with an Ethernet cable, and to your laptop, you get the internet, right? So that's local area network. Now, same way, we have wireless access point, you connect it to it. That's this slide specifically mentioned about those things, right? And when we talk about WAN, so we discussed yesterday, WAN is something like you are able to communicate with two different places. You're able to communicate with each other, right? So I mean, the picture here says that, okay, in one city there is one government office over there, and that is trying to communicate with an enterprise on the other. So all this communication happens with the WAN environment. And also we yesterday discussed, right? So for all this setup, usually in a networking environment, we'll be having our router, that is customer edge router, will be present at the premises of the office or whichever enterprise it is having. So let's assume we have.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Screen is, like, again, very small. You can recheck that, sir.
Okay, one
The
second.
image that you're showing, I think it was happening yesterday also, right? And you corrected.
Yeah, it's showing content only. Is it not visible till now?
It's visible. I think it's, very small. Anyone can confirm it's only to me or like to all of you as well. Image is very small to me.
No, sir, it's full screen available.
I'm sorry. Can you come again? One second. Let me stop sharing and reshare it again. Just a second. What about now? Is it still the same or
Now fine, sir. Now very fine. Thank you.
okay? Maybe I'm getting used to this. That's why. Okay, no worries. So, right. So we were talking, right? I mean, regarding our, the WAN side connectivity, right? So we will be having one router here, customer edge router here, and we'll be having customer router here. They will be communicating with each other, right? So that's how it happened. So when we talk about this setup, ideally in a on a high level way, we'll be having a customer edge router here. You'll have a PE router here. So anybody has a clue what is a PE router? Just checking. No. So provider edge router is something we call as the ISP. That is ISP routers we call it that provider edge router, right? So you see that WAN internet, right? There will be here one provider edge router will be here, will be here. So like that, many will be there. So those will be interconnected, and in an ISP environment, all the routers in ISP environment we call it as provider edge router. So ideally, when a person is trying to connect from one point to another point, that is a two different region, it is called WAN, right? So any questions on this one, guys? I should be pretty simple, and I know there is nothing much to have a question about. Yeah. So what is man, right? Uh, we have man. So yesterday we also discussed, right, how this WAN gets connected, wide area network, how it is connected. We have two different geographical location. We have the submarine cables that is going, and they are able to communicate. Now, when we talk about man, metro area network, it's like within an area you're trying to communicate with each other, right? So similar to WAN is, but it is like somewhat closer. I mean, let's say it is Bangalore east, Bangalore north, like so many places interconnected, and your company has branches somewhere around there in different parts of Bangalore region, and you are communicating with those things. So that becomes metro area network, and not necessary that it can also go beyond that. So basically, the concept is same, wide area network, but it is somewhat limited within a city, or I mean a metro city, or in or a district, or like some that terminology we can say, right? Now, this is something that we didn't discuss yesterday. So personal area network. This is something you're very familiar with, on a daily life. And the picture itself is clearly showing, right? You have your all your PCs getting connected to nearby devices, your mouse, your headset. That pretty much everyone is having the similar scenario. So this is what we call as the personal area network. I mean, between your, in and around, personal activity where you're doing. So that is what we call as the personal area network, wherein all your personal device or all your IoT devices you are able to fetch, you are able to communicate using a Bluetooth connection, right? I hope Till here, it is good. These are all discussed part yesterday. I'm just trying to revise what we had discussed yesterday. So for the new folks who have just joined today, right? Now, the storage area network. What we mean by a storage area network? So storage area SAN is something like, you have multiple servers, and yesterday, as I said, I mean, all your database is getting all. So if you see here a SAN switch, right? So a SAN switch, you see a certain disk array is there. So all your database is getting stored here in this on top of SAN switch, the tape disk and hard disk array. So all these things are getting stored here. So all your database were stored here, and you're managing that, and that infra is called as storage area network. Now this is something which is present in an environment, an enterprise environment of big DCs, wherein you have Google or Cisco's data center or any other data center like Facebook or Meta. So what they have, they will be having big what do you say, devices like these storage devices, and they will insert all these things, and each storage will be, it's like a small hard disk. So each will be having multiple hard disks, and when you are updating certain data, it gets feeded onto that. And how it happens is, right, usually in a networking environment, you have a primary DC, you have a secondary DC. So what happens is that when one DC, when you are updating each and everything on one of the DC, right, what will happen is the same information will be copied to the other DC as well via mirror. There will be mirroring that will be happening with this two DC. So there will be sync that will happen with these two DCs, and all the information will be shared, and they will have this stored there. So that's how they all the data center make redundancy. Do you think? I mean, it's like just think of it like, because Google is trying to create a new AI data center near Vizag, right? They're having a huge investors. So why is that they are not keeping it US alone? Because they want to have entire globe. They want to have redundancy. Let's say if the US data center is down for some reason, entire network or the people who are trying to access the YouTube or Facebook, YouTube or any Google item, let's say for Gmail or anything, will lose their access to it. So to avoid that, what they do is all this, they will, for each location, they will have set of data centers created just to create a geological wise any redundancy, right? So for that part, you are using SAN, storage area. So it's totally when you are walking in the networking, right? This is one of a sector where you work. I mean, if you are having a good taste on SAN, if you are able
Sir,
to.
voice is coming low. I think you are away from mic.
What about now? Sorry.
Yeah, now fine. You
Yeah.
you gone away.
So when you're working in the networking environment, storage area network, there is a separate team altogether. So one will be like, there will be network engineers who are working on the day two ops, that will be working on implementation stuff like that. There will be a storage team who maintains all the database and everything. They are the guys who actually keep your data, right? There is other team called security operations center team. They take care of all the cyber security related tasks. They keep track of all the malicious activity that is coming from outside to inside, right? So out of which every stream has its own importance. Storage is where we know what do you say, we keep our in infrastructure or our enterprise level data, we keep in storage, right? I hope this part is clear, right? Any questions, Basava, Sisha? Hello, all are muted. What happened?
No, no, clear, clear.
Yes, everything is clear, clear.
All right, cool. Okay, so um based on this, I'll move to the next section. I hope this part is clear. We'll move to the next section, and let me just take up that. Okay. I mean, you're able to see this one, right? The entire screen now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we talked about all this LAN, WAN, MAN, talked about campus, we talked about person area network. Now let's see what is topology. What any idea? I mean, Shivaji, what do you think? What will be a topology on based on your first thinking that is coming in your mind? What will be topology?
Like figure, it's like a structural connecting of various devices.
Right, to an extent it is correct. But in when you are in network environment, right? So this term topology is something that will be, saying time and again, this topology, that's topology, architecture level things. The topology is a very important term. As a network engineer, you should know what is topology, right? So topology means like as a skeleton diagram of what is present in a network. As Shivaji said, that's true. For each and every, so let's assume each and every networking device that is connected, you need to have a high level diagram. So what you mean by high level and low level diagram is, right, high level is like, okay, we have a router, we have a switch, connection is going this. That is the high level diagram. So low level diagram is like in detail, a basic kind of a information will be there with no basic information and all. That is low level diagram. So these two high level and HLD diagrams will be having the overall topology, overall architecture of what all devices is connected to where, right? So that is what we call as topology. Now, in topology itself, we have 5 sets. Actually, there are 5 ways of doing it. So if you already been in, I mean, BE or in BTech in computer science, you might be, it will be a refresher for you guys. So if anyone had done BE, can you tell me what is or BTech in computer science? What is bus? What do you mean by bus? A topology in bus. What do you mean by that? Shivaji, if you could, Shivaji or anybody else.
Yeah, all devices connected in a serial, like with a single line.
Right. So it in a single line, correct. Now, what will happen if we have all this connection in a single line? What is the drawback for this kind of a topology?
If one system breaks and the entire no, with the and all the no, if the central line, the main line breaks, the entire systems will shut down. No, it means it will not operational.
Correct. Exactly. If one of the link goes down, you have lost entire connectivity, right? That is what a bus topology mean. So yeah, as he mentioned, now we have so many PCs are connected in this in a single line. Let's assume the first line itself there is a uh, drop. Now the cable is gone. The entire system, entire PCs will not be getting any internet connectivity, right? So that's a drawback for this one, correct? Now, so let's move to next part. We told, so next is star topology. Now, anybody else, anybody in the session, what do you mean by star topology? Based on this, what do you think is a star topology? What do you think? Rahul, Shivaji, I need more people to start talking. It's not that I am talking again and I'm asking.
Yes,
Ayush is
star
there.
topology, which is a centralized connect to each and every other devices of the single media, either it could be a multiple media via. It is called a star topology, I think.
Right. So rightly said, as Rahul said, we have one device and we have multiple connection of this. Now, what will happen if the device itself gets failed? Now, this is getting failed. Now we lose this is the same effect of what we have in the bus topology. We lose entire uh, connectivity. All devices will be again having a problem, right? So that's a drawback for this topology, correct? Now let's see what we have the next one. ring topology. Okay, what do you mean by ring topology here? Everything is connected back to back. What do you think? What will the effect of this specific topology?
The
Any idea?
configurations to connected to the circular path.
Right.
Yeah, it is closer for the neighbors also.
Yeah, so it is quite reliable, I can say, because at least you're able to communicate with other people. Maybe if the link between the printer and this PC has gone down, at least that guy will be able to communicate with other people, right? But still not 100% reliable, right? So, and what did it say? Based on this one, it says like neighbors advantage. Each computer has equal resources, right? And next thing is main disadvantage, each packet has data must pass through all the computer. So this is kind of a you will have a bandwidth choke altogether. No, slowness will be there. All people is trying to access within the single line, and uh, there will be no slowness in what you're trying to access. Now, with respect to the previous one, at least you have a single point to point. If this link goes down, at least you will be having others will be working good, but it will be standalone. But until unless if the switch or this specific device goes down, the entire topology will be going down. Still not reliable, right? Now, mesh topology, this is a very well-known thing you might be knowing that everyone is connected to everywhere, right? And at least you have the redundancy in place. So if at all one of the link goes down, at least the node 3 is able to communicate with the rest of the people. Is able to communicate with other people, and he is able to share information. So what is this primarily disadvantage of this specific topology is that you are trying to create this one. There is so many complex. Now think of this situation. You're trying to plug in each and every devices to here and there, just to create a mesh topology, and how much cabling that will be happening, and also how much complicated it will be to troubleshoot and so that's the problem for this specific topology. It's too much costing, and installation is very difficult. Now on top of it, however the redundancy is there, the costing is too much high. Now, so the reason why we are discussing about topology is like tomorrow when you become a design engineer or you become an architect, right? You need to think of all this perspective before you are trying to implement, all this design perspective, right? You cannot randomly give some other topology, and you lately come to know that, oh, okay, this is not working good as expected. Now, because of that, you have to rework again. So that is not an ideal situation when you are in enterprise level. Like maybe in your home environment, you can do it as a test practice. But when you're working in an environment where the criticality is high, and you're trying to design certain things, when you're designing certain no I mean designing in a set of a site, the important thing is that you need to take consideration of the fact that the company's cost is also considered. You cannot randomly create too much of expense by creating too much complex architecture, right? And also the fact that when you're implementing, it also becomes a challenge. Now, so why do you think there is a design engineer and architect engineer here who is trying to implement this certain projects? The main goal for them is to reduce the cost, and they need to use minimum devices and utilize the maximum output from that, right? So that is the whole funda. If the cost is higher and you're implementing more stuff, and it becomes complicated, now cost increases, operational cost increases. Now managing that, no for managing that also becomes very difficult, because you need to take care of n number of devices, and data traffic. You need to take care of that, so many resources. However, we have automation on certain segments. But just a second, guys. So there's a noise here. Second. sorry. Yeah, back. Now, so when you're designing such level of no, as an architect, you need to take consideration of fact that the company's cost is also reduced. So when an architecture is preparing a certain set of no design, he takes care of that. Okay, limited devices, but however, when you're implementing that, it should be viable as well, because based on his design, the operational cost and the implementation cost and day two ops comes into play. Now that's the reason we are trying to understand how the topology works here. Now, as we say, hybrid topology, right? So what do you mean? It's a combination of all the topology together, right? So if you focus on the top one, we have a small ring topology here, right? All is getting connected here, right? That is sorry, star topology here on top, right? Here down you can see a mesh topology, right? So all together we have a kind hybrid topology, wherein, so ideally if you see in any environment, you can pretty much see it similar to this one. Okay, any questions so far on this part? I think it was pretty a simple thing, right? Okay. Now, when I say about cabling light, yesterday I was discussing. I showed the guys yesterday what all the cables that we have, and how we are, how physical, how it looks like, and how are the components. We talked about SFPs, right? So we have ideally two sets of cable. One is copper cable and optical cable. Now we have the copper cable is something, that coaxial cable. So if you see the coaxial cable, most of them is already been decommissioned and not in use at the moment. Now if you see here, what is a coaxial cable? By the time few of them are freshers. By the time you come in the industry, you will not be able to see all this. It's already been obsolete, and I don't think currently is been used as well. So it is similar to, if you remember, old days we have this, cable connection, TV cable connection. There's a black color cable, right? We used to plug into this on a TV. We used to see television based on that, right? So similar to that, we have a copper conductor, um, copper cable that is going. On top of that, we have insulator, and then we have the metallic conductor that is there, and a protective layer, the plastic protective layer. So this is ideally a coaxial cable, that how it looks like. But even if you don't know, no worries. It's just for information's sake, because anyhow you will not be touching all these things when you're working, because this is something obsolete. Okay, just for knowledge sake, I'm saying. Now, okay, so this is the one, twisted pair cable. So this is the one. Basava will be very much familiar with this kind of cables, because he is already troubleshooting this kind of a situation. When someone says, okay, my computer is not working, my computer is not getting internet connectivity, he will remove the cable and then insert it back. Now that's the ideal first step of troubleshooting, right? When the user comes and say, okay, his internet is not working, the first troubleshooting is like whether he's connected his cables or not, and excluding the fact that there are wireless controller, wireless access point as well. Now so when you cut open this Ethernet cable, you will see something like this, this kind of you will see. So you see like this one aluminum kind of a thing, that's for the shield that is covering the entire thing. So that's what it is called as shield twisted pair cable. Now, similar to this, we don't have that silver plating, so that's why aluminum plating kind of plating. That's the reason it's called unshield twisted pair cable, TP. Now let's see what is the speed that we have for our cables, right? So type 1, cat 1, cat 2, these are old one. Nobody is using this at the moment, because current cables have the capacity, they can handle up to 1 gigabit, like. So yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, the only problem with this kind of cable is that it cannot go long distance. So when I was initially working in one of the company, so we were trying to give connection to one of the APs. Okay, the APs are PoE APs. They had PoE means power on Ethernet. So the cable will give power to the APs, and from there it will get powered on. Now we laid the cable, everything was good. Now, so when we do cabling, right, to the technician, there is a format wherein they'll patch the cable based on that patching. I think it should be here in somewhere here. Yeah, see, crossover cable, straight through cable will be there. Now we verified what happened is we verified, okay, everything is good, the cabling connection is good, but still the AP is not getting power and the connectivity is not happening. Now then when we troubleshooted, for some time, and then we came to know all the Ethernet cables have a maximum distance of around 100 meters or 90 meters to be exact. Now our length was too much. Okay, so because of that, the AP was not getting powered on, and it was acting dead. Right. That's the main drawback of Ethernet cable. That even if you have, even if you want to connect an AP from maybe 2, 3, 4 sub, you will not be able to do it, right? In that point of time, you will have to, have an, what you say, a switch placed in one of the, floor, and from there that get distributed to other devices, right? So, um, uh, this is what it is. I mean, these are numerical values, is not something then you need to memorize in each and everything. But yes, the important factor is, um, right, this one. So might be when you are newly enrolled, you're trying to get in the interview, you need to make sure that you have the knowledge of how the cabling part is done, right? So that's this one. Okay, so let's discuss about this one then. Okay, any questions till now? Anyone? Basama, you might be having certain questions. You're already working on this, so that's why I'm picking you. Any questions from your end?
No, sir. I am
Okay.
already working on it now.
Yeah, so I think in that case, Basava will be explaining more about
Daily
the
basis
crossover
punch.
and straight through.
Yes, yes, sir. Daily basis I will punching and
I'm sorry, I
everything.
just. All right. So, okay. So daily basis, you're working on the just, okay. So for us, Basava, let us know what we mean by a crossover and a straight through cable. What do you think it is? Just a brief info so that the team knows about it. I mean, the entire class knows about it. No, let's make it more interactive. What do you mean by crossover?
The crossover means one side we have punching done with the same color code. You will punching to the other side, another end. It will be communication will be fine. If in case we have missed color coding, that will be internet will be sometimes is fluctuating or it's not connecting. This is a crossover punching it, right?
Okay, so there comes an interview question here. So when are we using a cross connect cable? What to connect what we are using a crossover cable?
Crossover cable generally using to user to router switches.
User to router or user to the
Sorry,
switch?
switches. Sorry, switches.
Okay, any other answers? Any other different answers that we have?
Access point.
Access point. Okay. Okay. So ideally, a crossover cable is something that you're trying to connect two different devices, right? So let's say you're trying to connect PC to PC, you use crossover cable. Switch to switch, you're trying to connect switch to switch, that is a crossover cable. Then um, then if that is the case, then what do you mean by a straight through cable? What do you think? Any idea? So I understand it this way. The easiest way to memorize is the way that if your devices, right, PC and some other devices, XYZ devices, whether it is router or switch, then you use a straight through cable, right? If it is a switch or a router, then it is a crossover cable. Okay. So ideally, if you see, right, as Basava was mentioning, so there is certain color codes, where it go. Yeah, similar to this, there will be some set of color code. You see right here, uh, brown, white is there. So just if you closely observe this one, let me just zoom in, see if we have brown, white, and then brown, green, white, green, brown, orange, white, orange, blue, white, blue. Okay. So this is something that we'll be having in our cables. Okay. Oops. Now, how are we differentiating whether it is a crossover or straight through cable? Now, on the one end, it will be like orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. If anyone wants to take a screenshot of this, you can go ahead and take screenshot because this is very important. Probably it will be a interview question for you, right? So crossover cable, first thing is like memorize this one: orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and then brown, white, brown. So this is how the first set of, on the A end, it will be this way. Now on the other end, it will be green, white, green, orange, white, blue, blue, white, orange, brown, white, brown. Okay, only few things are getting changed here, right? On top, the orange, white changes to green, white, orange changes to green. Now green, white changes to orange, white. Only the mixing up of green and orange is happening here. So that's why. So understand this way. If you are trying to connect router or a switch or any other devices, right, you use a crossover cable. Now, in case if you are using a PC, you're trying to connect to a PC, use a straight through cable. Cool? All good?
Correct.
Right. So the images here widely explains the same thing, right? We have orange, white, orange. Now here it is green, white, green. Okay. Now here it is green, then green becomes here orange, right? Now blue becomes blue, blue, white is blue. And all, as you see, like wherever here orange is there, that becomes green. Rest is the same, right? Just make sure of this one. Make a note of this one. If anybody is taking a screenshot, you can take it. Okay. Now this is crossover. Now what is straight through? Straight through is what you see here will be same here as well. Both has to be same. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. So same here. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. So it will be same on both, and that's what we call a straight through. Okay. Ideally to connect PCs and everything. Now, what is so okay. Now you will be thinking, are we getting this cable in this way, or can we create it? Do we have the possibility to crimp the cable? So the reason why why I'm suggesting you to learn this thing specifically is because now as a network engineer, you should also know how the physical aspect of the thing is. Now tomorrow when you're trying to troubleshoot any of the situation you're going through, now let's say here is a interview question for you guys. Now tomorrow someone asks, an interview asks you, okay, one of the guys connecting his laptop with the cable. Now he's not able to get internet. What could be the reason, right? So ideally he should be connecting straight through, but this guy has connected crossover. Because of that, he's not able to get connectivity. That's the interview question over there, right? Most of the people, okay, think what could be the people. There are various other reasons. Port will be down, right? Cable is broke, but the interviewer might be expecting this answer. So you should be pretty well, and you should say all this aspect. So when you are attending an interview, right, the perception of that interviewer, I mean, the person who is very technically good, ideally they will try to understand what is your thinking capability, right? How you are thinking, how you're trying to think that situation, how you're going to the situation, and how you're trying to troubleshoot it. Now, so if you know, like, okay, if the cable is not straight through, and he has connected crossover cable, maybe because of that is one of the reason. So you identify one of the reason. Now again, you're thinking, okay, the interval will say, okay, I identified that it is a straight through cable. Now why it is not connecting? Now you said you remove the cable and replace the new cable. Now again the interviewer is asking, okay, I replaced, everything is good, but still the guy is not getting internet connection. So the interviewer will try to, ask more and more question to you, so you should be able to answer such questions, right? So I hope this too is clear, right? Any questions so far? Anybody? Sirsha or
When will we use this straight through and crossover this wiring?
so ideally, right, when you are uh, in your environment, right, you have routers, switches, everything is there, correct? Right? So most of the time, earlier it was like Ethernet cable. So now ideally most of the time it is not Ethernet cable, it will be optical cables. But you should know about it, that's why. So what will happen is that, so let's exclude optical cables, you are having connection based on Ethernet connection. Now, when you make such connection net, you need to crimp the cables and insert it. Now that's when you have to have this knowledge on how, where we are connecting, to which device, which cable we need to connect. Now if you're not having that knowledge, what will happen is that you will not be able to, in an environment where simple task, actually it happens, I mean, and to be very frank, it happens, wherein I personally was troubleshooting one of the issue, and I asked the guy to, check the cable. And what happened is he was not able to identify, so he was a new guy. And then I had to, inform him, like, okay, you need to do this. Then he verified, then it takes a lot more time. So in an environment, you need to know where we are connecting. So in all the routers and switches, you need to have this Ethernet connection having. So basically, if it is a crossover, the crossover is where you connect all the routers and switches, right? And if you are having end host or a PC or something is getting connected, you use a straight through cable. So when are we using to connect devices, to have interconnect between the devices? That's when we use crossover cable. And when we need to use, PC to connect, then we use straight through cable. Does that answer the question, or?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
I mean, you can be more open. No worries. You can ask any questions. Maybe if I'm not able to answer, also no worries. I'll get that answer for you by tomorrow, the next session that we have. All right. If you feel that, yeah, I'm saying wrong or something, you can also correct me as well. It should be an open session. Okay. Right. So next we go through the optical cable. So this is something that you already seen. What do you think an optical cable is, and where have you seen this optical cable? So any idea if you have um, different type of optical cables that you have seen, or any idea about it? Can anybody tell me about it? Come on. I'll not be asking Basava because I'm again asking him. I don't want to bug him.
Yeah, optical cable generally using the fiber connection.
Okay, fiber connection, that's okay, but what is the main difference with no? Okay, I'll move this back. What's the main
The
difference?
high traffic, yeah, the speed is very good actually compared to the straight Ethernet cable. The fiber is very high speed.
And it can be used
Okay,
for the long distance connections. Basically, with the
Yeah, long
submersible pipe,
distance.
submersible cables, as we use these optical cables.
right, great.
Yeah,
Now,
long distance travel the traffic. Yeah,
correct. So what technology is being used in that?
Light waves. Oh,
Okay. Light. Okay. So why is that light? How is light is going? Have you seen? I mean, when you say light is going, like, why is that light is going faster and no Ethernet cable is not able to handle that? Any idea? I'm not asking. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to just make it more interactive.
It generated, right?
So I didn't hear you. You got broke in between. Yeah. Can you please repeat? Hello. Okay. So all what you said is true. I mean, it is having high speed connectivity. It can go to long
bas-
distance. Ethernet
bas-
is,
yeah,
yeah,
basically, the electromagnetic interference will be less for the lights traveling in the medium.
right. Noise will be less. That is true. Now, so when you say like, okay, think about it, how come is the light going in a single straight line? Have you seen that? What do you think? Is the light going in a single straight line, or is there any kind of reflection that is happening in the optical cables? No. So for any optical cables, right? So what you see is this is so ideally we have two types of fiber cables. One is a single mode fiber cable. This is a multi-mode fiber cable. So this is the single mode fiber cable. Now, what you see is, see, the light is traveling here. So that yellow thing that's the light that is going in. So ideally in any fiber cable, right, there are two ways the light goes. One is the straight way. This one, the straight way it is going, the light is going in a straight way. Okay. Now other one is in the multi-mode is the light is going in a reflective way. So that's the ideal difference of single mode and multi-mode. Single mode means all the light will be traveling in the straight way. There is no interruption or nothing. In multi-mode, there is a specific angle with which the light travels. So you're seeing, right, multiple lights are going. So all the lights will be going in a single one specific angle is there. I'm not remembering. I'll tell you tomorrow. So in this specific angle, it will hit. So the source will be sending this light, and it will reflects, and then it reaches the destination, right? So what is the you know best thing about single mode here? It has higher bandwidth. What about multi-mode? We have less bandwidth. Okay. So ideally, so it is saying about best for WAN man location. It says best for data center location. Okay. So now, what do you mean by this? So it means single mode is the one that travels more. Okay. For long distance, you're using single mode. Tomorrow, if an interviewer asks you, okay, Basava, tell me, oh, if I need to connect two of my switches in two different location, which cable I'll be using? Don't tell multi-mode. Okay, multi-mode is not the reason because it is for short distance. You have to say single mode because single mode is the one that travel more. That's why we are using single mode for long distance. Okay, so if you have seen, right, these people or the internet guys or the local ISP, they will be having one yellow color cable at your premises, right? On top of there will be black what you say plastic coating will be there, and then this same coaxial will be there, small silverish kind of a thing, and then your fiber comes in, right? So that's the one that goes long distance. Okay, but if you talk about multi-mode, it is for shorter distance. Okay, now any questions on this one, guys? I hope this was clear. It was pretty straightforward. Doubts? No, we are good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Sir, and one more question.
yeah.
ISP provider can give the optical cable with the single mode, right?
ISP provider can give.
Single mode Optical cable, right?
Yeah. So what happens is, right, it depends. So when you say
Correct, sir. But they are using media converter, right?
media converter, yes. So very
Yes,
good question, media converter.
yes.
So what
In
happens
that,
is, yeah.
uh,
So what
in that,
happens is, so let me just complete that, because when
yes,
you're told an interesting question. So so what do you mean by a media converter here? So media converter is nothing but so ISP will be terminating your connection on fiber. Okay. Now,
no,
um, now your device is supporting only Ethernet. Now what will you do?
ye-
You cannot replace the device for one ISP connection, right? For that sake, you have a media converter. What it will do is it will convert the fiber connection into Ethernet and vice versa, Ethernet connection to fiber. So
correct.
media. So if you're physically working, right, you will get to know that on most of the ISP devices, they will be terminating what you say what is a fiber cable, and then there will be media converter, and then you connect. Let me show you guys how the media converter looks like. Okay. This will be better. So see, let's see, here. So you see, right, here we have
No,
two
sir.
connections, right? One is an RX. So okay.
Screen not available, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let it go. Just taking one screenshot here. Should be good. Okay, what about now? Able to see my screen? Hello?
Yes, sir. Visual.
Visible, right?
Yes,
So this is the media converter that I was trying to tell. Now, right, so in this case, what will happen is you are connecting the fiber cable on the RX and TX. Okay. So when you talk about RX and TX, what do you mean by RX and TX? This is also an interesting interview question. Thanks to Baswa, he asked that question. Media converter. So this RX means receiving end. So let's assume you have uh, you know what do you say router here, and RX on the RX level, that is you're receiving from here, you're receiving it towards that device, so that you're receiving it, just you're receiving the signal. So when you're receiving it, that becomes if your router is receiving a signal, that becomes RX. If your router is or a switch is transmitting it, that becomes TX. Okay, just make a note of this one. RX and TX is very important. It will be helpful when you're conveying your answers. Like when you use RX and TX, it will give an impression. At least the person will know, okay, this guys know something. That impression will come. So make a note of this one. So media converter. So media converter, we have the RX and TX, which is connected. All this SFP, all the fiber cable is getting connected here. Now we have an Ethernet connection that goes. We're connecting Ethernet connection on this port, and then to your devices, right? So this is something that is used in most of the ISP situation where they're terminating their connection on the on fiber, but maybe the user or the end customer is not having that feasibility, so they are using media converter. That is this one. So any questions, Basava? Is that answering the question or anything else?
no, sir. It's clear.
Okay. Now there will be another setup, right? I'm adding further to this one, right? What will happen is, right? your provider or the ISP will be having a single mode connection. Okay. Now, what is single mode connection? This is a long distance connection. That is this one, right? Long distance connection that we have. Now, what we'll have from there, there will be again a multiplexer, or a multiplexer is nothing but it distributes your connection. So, or a media converter similar to this, where from there, and another connection will come, that is a multi-mode. From multi-mode, you will have a connection towards your device. So that is that there can be situation like this. So just keep a mind of this one. Okay. So right. I hope this is clear, right? So any questions so far, guys? So the important out of this, the important is this one, crossover and straight through. Just make a note of this, because this is where people get confused and it is actually confusing. So the shortcut is, when you think of crossover, make yourself understand that crossover is between routers and switches. Now, when it is straight through, it is for PC. When connecting your end user, that is for straight through. Just make a note of it. Crossover by the name, all the cablings here will be here and there. Straight through, all the both the sign will be same. Okay, so just make a note of this. Very important note. Okay, yeah. So right, so let's have a Q&A session. So any questions that you have for today? We have gone through LAN WAN MAN, we have gone through various other cable connections, right? Any questions that you have? We also discussed on yesterday what is SFP, right? We also discussed SFPs regarding SFPs as well. So any doubts on that? Sirsha is today very quiet. What happened? I'm not. Also, Anup, Ravi, all are very quiet today. Ayush, hello. What happened? All sleeping? It's already 10.
No, sir.
Okay. Right. All cool then. So for tomorrow's session will be more interesting. We'll know what is IP address. We'll get to know what is MAC address. We'll get to know what is ping. We'll get to know what is, um, uh, different type of IPs, public IP, private IP. So we'll have a look on this tomorrow, right? So in between, if you have any kind of doubts in your working environment, you can also have that question asked. Okay. So hopefully tomorrow it will be much more, kind of uh, digging deep into our actual networking, where we're starting with a MAC address and IP address, and what are the different kind of no IP address, how the subnetting happens, how uh, you know um, uh, how we are assigning the IP, right? So that is also important factor. When you are in a big company, you need to know which IP belongs to which subnet. So there are certain terminologies. We'll get to know about this tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow will be much more interesting. So
Yes, sir. So, hi guys. Actually, I want to introduce one offer as well. If somebody is enrolling for the CCNA and CCNP Enterprise and Core and RC both courses, then we are offering one firewall of your choice, complimentary, like Palo Alto or Fortinet. Totally complimentary. That would be live session and recording, and even with the lab access also. So that would be valid till tomorrow around 6 p.m. So you can decide for that, and you can reach out to the admission team. And if you still have any question related to the course content and everything, you can still ask with the sir, right? How's the offer, sir?
yeah, I mean, very good, because I think guys should opt for this one. Even I
Yeah,
was
the
saying,
reason actually why I'm offering, actually on behalf of CCNA, CCNP, companies are looking for, like somewhere security also, right? So security profile also you can apply, right? Network security engineer. So it would be very easy to get, hike as well, and the job opportunities also, multiple job opportunities basically. So that is the reason we are giving the complimentary. It's not like that we are like, giving you the bad quality and all. You can, check the quality. We have given the training for the CCNA also related to the cloud security, cyber security also. So all are working professional engineers here. Nobody is local trainer or corporate trainer. So you will be getting the, top notch quality from the hash one, engineer of industry, right?
Yeah, so adding to that pointer, when you are in going to any of the interviews, right? The current, you might be going through most of the profiles, right? They will be asking, they want to have SD-WAN engineer, they want to have routing and switching, they want to have SD-WAN engineer. Some people say CCNA, CCNP certification is must. So so to qualify that, at least you should have a certain set of knowledge. Maybe they might not be looking into core based on your experience, what you have, but at least to get into a job profile, right? At least you should show something. Okay, you know something. Then only your profile gets shortlisted. So the reason is when you're working, when you're trying to apply a company, right? If with basic information you worked, routing and switching, not necessary your CV get shortlisted. So CV gets shortlisted based on how much profiling that you have. Now that profiling includes, you have knowledge on routing, your knowledge on switching, your knowledge on wireless. So when you have more knowledge on it, it adds on your template as well and gives weights on your resume. If you have one or two, that is because of the fact that current market is like that, right? Because when I joined back then, if routing and switching was more than sufficient to, back then it was like based on protocols. We used to write, I know RIP, I know OSPF, I know BGP, I know this, that. So, but now it has changed. Now those tricks will not work. Now it is like you need to have certain skill set. Okay, right? You need to have routing and switching, you need to have wireless, you need to have firewall knowledge, you need to have SD-WAN knowledge. So most of the companies are doing like that. And on top of it, again, there is a overhead with DevOps as well and Python automation. So it's like that when you increase your portfolio, the chances of getting job increases. Of course, you have to improve your technical skill as well. That is also there. That is also a part of it. And on top of it, right, when you have all this, don't think as, okay, why should I be spending more? If you're very much interested in this profile, right, you automatically will start, investing more on yourself. So back then when I started with CCNA, CCNP, but I thought like, okay, this two is more than sufficient. When later down the time, what happened is I have to keep improving myself, because until if I don't do it, people will not call me. I will not be getting job and will not be getting salary hikes. That is also there. So all companies look forward to that, how much upskilling you're doing. Recently also I came to know one of the guy was taking an interview. This specific question he has, how you are upskilling yourself. This is an interview question actually. The one the manager was asking, you have this much of experience, and what are you trying to upskill yourself? Now, if you don't have anything on your resume, that will be a problem for your growth. So take this as an investment. Think of it, and when you're learning, try to upskill yourself in the best way possible. Okay. So yeah, that's it from my end. So let's see tomorrow, and hope you have a very nice
Yeah,
day.
definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
all.
Thank you all time for the time. Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night. See you tomorrow.